Good. Excellent. Oh, it's Bill Bynum. Morning, Bill.
Hi, David. How are you this morning?
I am well. And you?
Doing good.
Did you go to the demonstration in Washington Saturday?
I did not. We did not. Madeline went to one in Flint Hill, Virginia,
Aha.
and
Jay.
uh, it was on the NPR News Hour,
Aha.
Little Flint Hill.
Jane
Yeah.
thought she saw you um, at the one in Washington. Uh,
Oh, really?
we were watching. We were watching it on TV, and so anyway, I didn't see that. I was out of the room, I guess, at that moment.
That moment.
She said, I'm sure I saw Bill Bynum there.
Really interesting. Who was that fellow?
However, Jane's sister and a couple of friends were definitely there and had wonderful reports.
Yeah, we had our every other week visit to the chiropractor yesterday, and he and his wife were in Washington. You probably
Ah,
don't know what he looks like, but
no,
they made-
hard to see in that crowd, let me tell you.
right. Yeah, but they said it was amazing.
Yeah. Morning,
They
Mr.
had
Daigle.
actually, yeah.
Morning. Morning, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
The ladies, I believe, are on the way.
They will be there, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was thinking a little bit earlier that Joanne just has too many things on her plate.
She does.
She's always, it seems to me, she's always catching up. But
Yeah, that
it,
seems to be an eternal state.
it's amazing how she manages all that she does.
Yeah, I'm not really aware in much detail of all that she does, but I'm aware that uh, she's really committed
Yeah.
or overcommitted or whatever it is.
Well, if you were here at the end of class, you would get the whole story. But I usually think I take that off the video. Oh, there. I hear Carol's backup beep, so they're here. So, yeah, I was sad that I could not go anywhere and do that. I simply can't sustain a really long walk or standing like that. So I had
Yeah.
to be
Well,
satisfied with it on TV.
okay. Okay. Well, I know you're sending the energy.
Oh yeah, I hear their voices.
They will have their corporal appearance will be imminent.
Indeed, indeed, and here they are. I think.
Here they
I hear
maybe
someone likes them.
Yeah,
that's right.
yes.
Wait, if you've got Yankees, right, what do you have?
They seem to be deep in conversation as usual.
Good morning.
Good morning to
I think I owe you money, right? I'll do that at the end, but I brought a checkbook.
At some point,
At
yes.
some point, well, I mean, we do pay for these classes, so we should.
Yeah, you owe me for the meditation.
Okay, Mm.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, David.
I'm not ignoring you, really.
No, I'm not ignoring you either.
Whew,
Uh,
you water. Good morning, Bill and Bill.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Joanne.
Morning.
Morning, Carol.
have you recovered?
From Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't have much of a role.
Oh, good.
My son Patrick was the co-MC, so
Oh,
he's much busier.
he, he held up the.
He held up the
Family
sheet
day.
and yeah, right. No, I mean, I gathered there were 3 generations of us there, so I was kind
Oh,
of.
good.
Was he in one of those costumes?
No, that was Annie and Chris were though. Yeah. Anyway,
Good. Breathe.
I know. Yes.
I did a community meetup, but I'm very glad that I have some sort of
You
association.
get the
with people.
connections. A lot of All Souls.
Lot-
A lot of All Souls
Oh, yes.
people.
We watched Washington.
Yeah, that's what you
TV.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was on
It was on.
CNN.
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot
Good.
of
They did.
coverage.
Did they get arrested?
No,
No.
there were no arrests. There were 7 million people out, and the 23 arrests were all Trumpers who were trying to attack people in the demonstration. There was no arrests anywhere else.
Cool. So
Oh,
we'll let go of
I was telling,
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
interrupt one sec. I was telling David that Madeline was at a little town called Flint Hill, which is a town that has maybe 300 people in it. And there were 200 people along the
that's
road in
great.
Flint Hill, Virginia.
Wow.
And it made it on the news hour. Flint Hill was featured on the news hour as Small Town America.
Love it.
This little town in our county.
That's great. Okay.
Sounds so much nicer in person.
Oh, yeah, sometimes it doesn't sound at all.
Sometimes we don't get it at all, but
recording
I
sometimes.
try.
I know you do.
And I'm recording today.
Oh, good.
So, questions? Comments? How's your practice? What's happening? What isn't happening?
It's funny how I mean, I don't really recall much discussion about our midriff at other times. But this week I just felt like I was kind of aware of my midriff. And not just while I was practicing, but just kind of in general,
Oh, good.
which I guess is a good thing.
Absolutely.
I would just kind of go, oh,
Except when it feels like it's being crunched.
what's
into
happening?
dust. What's going on there?
Or the, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the qua where I was talking about just getting out of a chair and how you kind of, I can use that, that energy,
Yep.
that it kind of just, becomes part of your awareness.
And I think, I feel like I've probably been a little negligent about
About the
talking
midriff.
about the midriff because it is such an important cavity and area. And talking about it, actually, I realized it's been good for me too. I realized I'd be sitting and my midriff be closed and I would straighten up.
Uh-huh.
And you immediately feel the difference, or at least I do. It's really amazing how much that opens. So, gentlemen or Carol,
I'm aware of the midriff, and certainly physically, muscularly, I know where it is and I can feel it operating, but I haven't had much success identifying opening and closing in that area. Um, and I think I have it, and then I decide really that's muscular that that I'm feeling. So still a work in progress, certainly.
yeah, being fully aware of cavities is throughout the entire body. It takes a lot of time and practice because they are not as easily recognized as the energy gates.
Right.
And yet they are very, very important. We need to be opening and closing both energy gates and cavities. And so it's worth the practice time to develop the awareness, the really clear recognition of your cavities. Mr. Bynum?
Yeah, I've had a much more consistent week of practice than I had the prior week. So that's felt real good. And I feel like the circularity is good. I'm trying to, and I'm similar to Bill. I can't really say I'm uh, at home with awareness of the cavities, but I have been trying to focus on taking, to use Bill's term, the muscularity, the out of, to relax that and have the movement, all the movements being more energetic than calisthenic or whatever the opposite is. But
I like it.
but yeah, but it has felt real good. So.
Good.
I've been paying more attention to the qua than the midriff, which is like I need to work on the qua a lot more than move on to anything else right now. But
That's fine.
I'm somewhat conscious of the midriff, and as you were saying in everyday life, there's like, oh, okay, that's closing it off.
Right, yeah, you
Yeah.
can feel it, yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, and you're doing absolutely the right thing. If you need to be focusing on the quad, then focus on the quad. And the midriff will come. Its time will come.
And in 3, in order to be up, the quad is going to be open at 12, but we're opening at 3 and 9,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's, if I think about it, it gets confusing if I just do it.
Don't think about
Think about
it.
That's it. But
But we're not going totally up on
but something's got to go up.
3. Well,
How do you get the Dantian up?
Well, you've got to go the top of the curve from 3 to 9 or 9 to 3. Absolutely, you've got to go up. And so one of the things to be aware of there is to not go too high.
Oh.
As soon as you push yourself clear up, you've closed off, period. And so that you have to find where is that circle or that oval.
and that's where it does get, yeah.
It may be, as long as it's rounded. We talk about circularity, but roundedness is just fine. So, and I totally understand what you're saying about 12 o'clock, because that's a very difficult comprehension for us, I guess I was thinking, because our sense is that when we go up, that's an extension and opening, but it isn't, it's a closing. And so finding how you can close and yet keep that curve going is part of what your practice is there. And not going too high is a really important piece of it. I know it was for me. And I think that can help, because you can have a sense of closing if you haven't extended too far. But once you extend too far, you're forced into opening, at least to some extent. So.
Well, that one has felt better than, and certainly not arrived, but by thinking about the spine curve, and even at 12, your spine has a curve in it until you get all the way around and then do the stretch, and then
Yep.
if you go up over, so the curve in the spine, does that, but the correlate, maybe you could talk a minute about the correlation of the curve in the spine versus when you extend in any of the postures, you're doing that with the spine and extending, and the quad, the relationship of the quad and that.
Well, yes. Where to begin with that? So, it is possible to do the C curve in the spine and not physically move the quad very much. Or it can also coordinate with it, which can be very helpful in a lot of movements. Most of the time, when you bend the spine, the quad is bending to some extent. It may be either a quad fold or a quad squat. You have to be clear about those, which one is present in each of the postures, because it's not the same. But the movement of the quad with the spine accentuates the movement of the energy through the body. So you actually do not, certainly in gods, do not want to have the qua get frozen and just be focusing on the bending of the spine. The two need to coordinate. Everything in the body has to coordinate, but certainly those two need to be functioning together, and movement 3 is of course its own particular problem because of the fact that we have that circular movement, or rounded movement, if you will, and the position at 12 is so counterintuitive to us.
Yeah.
And we have to let go of thinking too much about it and simply do it. Do what we want to do there. You have to have the intention to do it and not be struggling with thinking too hard about the fact that it seems incomprehensible that could happen there. Because the mind can get in the way as well as be very helpful. So the qua and the back should be working together, certainly in gods and in everything. But I guess my point about the qua not moving is not that it is not opening and closing, but it doesn't necessarily have to fold. So that's one of the things to remember, is that you can cause the entire body, every energy gate and cavity in the body, to open and close when you're simply standing, which is what actually is the first movement in the Wu Yu Xiang style of Tai Chi. So you have to be aware of what you intend to do in each practice and each movement, because they're not all the same. And so I don't know. Do you have other questions there, Bill, or does anybody have another question there? Did that help?
Silence.
That's a little vague. So just at 12, like, because we're still closing, that's not the maximum curve of the spine for me. It's just before you get over to the stretch.
Yep.
And so describe just in 3 what the qua's doing in relation to the spine from like 12 to 3.
So that's where it gets really difficult for us when we try to think too much about it. That's what I was talking about. Is that when you have completed one movement here, that now you have to be aware that even though you're rising, you're closing, and you're closing, and you're closing, and now you're opening.
So what's making you rise?
Your qua.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. That's
But it's
even though you're,
but you have to think
yeah,
about it causing the rising by closing. This is a case where the movement, where if we were simply to describe its physical movement, it's opening, but energetically it is closing.
Still closing.
That's the difficult element to comprehend and to feel here.
But your hands are the indication of that.
Yeah. Your arms
Your arms, your hand, not just
are an
yes,
indication
your arm,
of
yes,
what's
yeah.
happening here.
Yes.
Because once you have extended here, then this movement is got to come up, but it's closing. And part of what helps that is the bend of the spine.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have extended the spine here and begun to bend the spine here, then that certainly helps the closing. But this is as I'm saying, this is a place where your intention drives what's happening here, not your mind thinking about it. And learning to be, what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to talk about today, interestingly enough, this is exactly a place, I'm going to talk about some concepts that we have used the words a lot, and we actually, I apologize to Joanne because I'm repeating something we did in the meditation class, but applying it here. So we all understand, I think, to some degree, I'm talking more about this, of being aware of what's happening. But we have to recognize the difference here between closing and opening. Because I just opened at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we want to do, but that was my intention.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to recognize what we want to do. We have to recognize and be aware of the energy and be able to focus our intention and do what is needed energetically at that point and not just feel the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Did that get
Yeah,
less
that helps.
vague?
So, yeah. So just to do a moment of the physical again, the difference between 12 and 6, the spine is the same, but the qua is different from in 12 and 6.
The quest bent a little more because of the fact that you're on the bottom part of your curve. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's your qua fully extends here, but it bends at these points.
Yeah.
And I understand. Believe me, I've been through exactly what I think all of you are going through with this, because it is so counterintuitive, and it is getting past thinking about it and focusing on the awareness and recognition of what you want to do with the energy.
It's a crazy step between learn and think.
Yeah.
And then keep the learning bigger, get rid of the thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta
Absolutely.
think about it at some point, but then you gotta let go of it, and that's
Yeah, that's
And I think we all rotate back into that at some point, right? So all the way along, even things we've done for a long time. Suddenly you're like, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just a continual process.
Yeah.
Because
I have one other little thing, and I may be asking too many questions for one session.
No,
But in
that's
that
fine.
3 and 6, I tend to lift my head up a little bit, which I don't feel like is right. I feel like I should just have my spine straighten and have my gaze go forward rather than, you know, arching. I don't really arch my neck, but I tend to push my chin out a little bit more. Um, that's kind of a detail that's just, I never know quite what I should actually be doing with my head and at, you know, 3 and 9. Uh,
Well, I mean, 6.
Well, the C curve is straightened at that point.
What?
The C curve has straightened at
At
that
the
point.
top, yes.
At the top, right.
But
At the on 6 and 9.
but if you are pushing the head back, that's not the straightness of the spine that we're looking for, or the
right, yeah.
because of the jade pillar gate, which is the energy gate right between the skull and the spine. And as soon as you arch the head back, you begin to close that off.
Yeah.
So finding how you bend the spine and you straighten it and open everything without going too far. So again, it's coming to that basic structural position with the qua, that you don't go too far, which pushes you back, but allows you to come totally open at the top, and then to begin to close as you come down. Does that help, Bill?
Yeah, I think I had the answer along with the question, but yeah. Yes.
Oh, good.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else? Good questions, Bill.
Yeah.
I think questions are very, very important. Don't hesitate.
And even if it wasn't a question we had at the moment, you
Yeah.
go, oh, ooh, yeah.
And the my lesson about that is that I was very hesitant in Master Joe's classes to ask questions because I was still relatively new at that point. And then he was killed. And while I still feel some connection to him, it's not. You don't get the same kind of answers. At least I don't.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate, because you really don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, I won't hesitate.
Good.
I've just been sitting here thinking this has been a good discussion, and my sense is that we all are making progress on tracking the energy and the intention in 3 certainly, most recently, but 2 through 6. We've done a lot of work on that, but I have 7. I I don't have the same sense of dealing with the energy, whether it's intent or uh, feeling the movement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It seems to be not nearly as far advanced in that regard as 2 through 6. Yeah.
Well, of course, we've been doing it for less time, for one thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Um,
probably not a subject for this morning, but
Well,
because it's
no,
big. Yeah.
I don't. Again, I don't think it isn't a subject for this morning. I think it it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, because it's requiring you to be aware and recognize what is happening energetically at a much subtler level. And so it's more difficult. It is the most difficult posture in the form. There's no question about that. Because we spend too much time thinking about it instead of feeling it. And it is so different than physically than the other movements that you get caught in thinking about how it's different rather than how it's the same energetically. So I completely understand. I mean, I think I probably went through many of the same things about 7 that you all are. I mean, I'm not a master. I'm still working on all of this. But there does come a point where you have a breakthrough with 7, as you have had with some of the other postures. And you suddenly become aware of what you are trying to recognize and do. And it is all internal. There is, yes, we have a slight circular movement, but it isn't very much. And we are rotating at a point in the body where we don't normally rotate.
Mm-hmm.
However, one of the things to remember is that Qigong and Neigong have a number, not a lot, but a few practices where those whole body principles that we go on about at such length don't apply. What leaps to my mind is the bear catches salmon movement in the 5 Animal Frolics. A practice that comes from the 2nd century, and it has that movement of rotating at at the midriff, but it has a purpose. It has a reason, and part of it is to as does 7, is to squeeze and open the kidneys and the other organs as well, but particularly the kidneys. So
It's interesting. You describe it, 7 is, in a way, putting it all together. It's the ultimate. But in Dragon and Tiger, it's really clear that the final movement puts everything together.
yeah,
And to me, still 7 here is different, and
Yeah.
just what you described. It's different, and it's counterintuitive, and well, I kind of get that it really, you're really exploring the spine, which I think is real interesting when I'm focused on it, and uh, um, but I've yeah, but it's enigmatic, I guess. So
yeah, and it's it's the part of the difficulty is that you can only fully accomplish 7 when you are reach the point where you can let go of thinking about it. Because it's different, at first we do have to think about it because it's different, because it's counterintuitive. But for it to really function energetically, we have to let go of the thinking about part. We ultimately want to function through this entire practice with the heart mind, not with any mind here, or even focusing on any specific organ. So it's, it's just a continual development of moving through practice slowly through the stages of opening this up. I mean, as I have said to you before, I think, that I'm only teaching you the first 4 levels of this. There are 4 more. This is only the beginning of God's. But I think one of the things we have to recognize is that it is one of those practices that you absolutely can spend a lifetime on, and maybe more than one, because it's not easy. But the resulting benefits, even at the level that we are at, are huge. Eventually, Gods can replace all the other Negos and Qigong that we do. That's what it is capable of doing, and achieving all of those benefits. But not in the beginning. It takes a long time. I won't. I don't think I've ever said to you, "Oh, well, if you hurry up, you can get there sooner." No.
No.
You get there when you get there, and everybody is different. Everybody has different demands in their life. I've been lucky to be able to devote a little more time than most of you can, and therefore been able to be to share some of what I have learned. But I'm not up there in the clouds yet, if you will. But anyway, did that help at all in there? All of that?
Yes. More to come, I hope. But yeah.
There's always more to come.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anything for either of you ladies? The gentlemen have been...
No. That was helpful.
Okay. So, there's certain basic things in Tai Chi, Neigong, and meditation that you're going to be involved with. And these are awareness, recognition, focus, breath, posture, and presence. And we've looked at many different elements in Gods, but without incorporating these concepts, not just intellectually understanding them, your process in Gods will be slower than it could be. So, we'll start with awareness. Now these terms in one sense are very loose, since awareness can mean a number of different things. At a simple level, you are aware of something or you are not. And these are two fingers that I'm holding up, not a rabbit's ear or antenna. But when you move more deeply into these practices, awareness is, quote, can you have the ability to start to notice the shades of things, the nuances, the distortions and distractions between things, the slight differences, as well as the similarities, end quote. If a person is drunk or taking hallucinogenic drugs, two fingers might seem to be six to them. So, are you accurately aware of what is in front of you? And this is a skill that develops over time. In ordinary life, we talk about people being unaware. You're talking to someone, but you're completely unaware of the other people around you and what they are doing. Someone really unaware might actually be oblivious to an earthquake happening right around them. But here we're talking about being aware of what is going on inside of you. Being aware to your sensations, your thoughts, your mind, to whatever is going on. That's awareness. Then, if you are aware of something, do you recognize what it is? What it is that is going on? If you're aware of your two fingers, do you recognize which fingers they are and that they are attached to your hand and what they are capable of doing? Just as in gods, you may be aware of an emotion or sensation, but not be able to identify it clearly. So it is really important to be able to recognize what is going on. In the beginning, we are trying to recognize very simple things. But as you go deeper, you become aware of more subtle and powerful states. So it's easy to say, I am aware that I have two fingers. I recognize that they are separated or together. Or am I recognizing the natural state of my mind? Am I recognizing that this is stress? So first you have to be aware enough to be able to recognize something, and then you have to have the ability to recognize what's behind it, not presuming you have the ability to be aware and recognize something. The next question is, for how long? So you have the issue of focus. Mindfulness, one pointed concentration, or in other words, the ability to stay focused on something, to be aware of it and recognize it for some length of time. Now, one of the first major challenges in any form of energy work is to develop a focus that is relaxed and can stay with something for some length of time. So if someone is not staying focused, the mind may simply go to sleep. And when they come back, they may say, oh, what was I doing? It doesn't matter whether it is God's, Tai Chi, or meditation. It has become just mindlessly doing something. So you have to have the ability to focus on something. It is only the ability to focus on something that will allow you to penetrate through its layers to what is in there. If you cannot focus on the nature of your nervous system and the stress that it has produced inside of you, then it will be very difficult to recognize it, because you will be aware of it, and maybe you'll be able to release it for 30 seconds, and then maybe 5 minutes later you'll be able to release it again for a little bit more. And so focus becomes very important. Now, different systems have different names for it, but the Taoists simply call it focus. Buddhists say mindfulness, and the Chinese use the term Chuanxing, meaning the entire heart-mind being focused on something. So you either focus or space out. Now, thinking about body posture, there are often issues involved here that are important to the process of Gods. First, if the spine is not relatively straight, then the energy channels cannot remain relatively stable. And when the body begins to collapse, the energy channels get distorted, or they start producing experiences, disassociating, and having your mind go into some part of your unconscious. And it can make you completely unable to be aware, to recognize, to stay concentrated or focused. It really destroys the whole process. And it can also trash your breath. Now, when your energy channels start being distorted, it begins to create body noise, which causes your nerves to either overreact or to be dead inside of you. And as a result, the only reason you are having all these experiences is because you are distorting your body. If your energy channels are distorted, you are going to create the equivalent of something of scratches on a record. You might think, oh, I'm experiencing the stress inside my body. But the stress you are experiencing is not stress inside you, but the stress you are inducing by distorting your energy channels. So, if you were to practice for 100 hours, and 90 of them have poor posture, inducing energy distortion, you really end up only practicing for 10 hours. So this is one of the main reasons people give up their practice, because they find themselves just spacing out or creating pain inside their bodies, then you are not able to recognize what is inside of you that you are trying to make better. You only recognize the pain being created by not maintaining proper posture. So the last basic component of any form of energy work is being present. Now, the term presence is used in many traditions to mean many different things. If you were doing Christian meditation as it was done in the monasteries, then the whole idea was to become present with God. In Buddhism, you would want to become present to your mind. But regardless of the type of practice, you need to become present to what that tradition is trying to actualize. So, for instance, if you are trying to be present to the depth of your mind, it won't help to be present to your laundry list. But as when you drive a car, you want to be aware of the road and recognize what is on the road. You need to be present to everything you are seeing in front of your car as well as the sides and back. And if something important comes on the radio, you may also need to be present to that as well without losing any of the other awarenesses. So presence becomes very important, particularly in the beginning stages of any Neigong practice, especially God's. So God's playing in the clouds. It is about the ability to be present to what the basic method is, and trying to bring it to fullness inside of you. So presence is very, very important. So looking back at all of these, awareness. We live in a world where so much is going on and there are so many activities that it's not easy to be aware of all of them. So some people suggest that good multitaskers are aware of one thing and then another, so that sequentially, and that most people cannot do as well multitasking as they can by focusing totally on one thing at a time. In our energy practices, there are so many things happening inside of you at one time that you cannot separate them. So the question becomes, can you simply be aware of whatever is coming into your awareness? Then you can choose whether to be present to it or not. But you need to be, at the very least, aware of what is occurring and not oblivious to it or denying its existence. You need to be aware of what is going on, and then you can choose what to focus on. Now, recognition is, what are you in God's trying to recognize? Can you keep your mind focused enough so that it stays on one thing, or can you focus on a bunch of things without playing peekaboo with any of them? If you can be aware of everything so that you don't exclude anything inside of you, then you are still one person. Now the next question becomes, what are you going to choose to have your focus be present to? Now, focus is just the raw ability to stay on something. But presence is more than that. Presence is not just recognizing that you have two fingers. It is to be present to everything that can be happening with those two fingers. Not just to be present to your stress, but to its shades, what it does and doesn't do, how it feels and doesn't feel, so that eventually you can unwind your stress or whatever is distorting your peace of mind. So you may focus on something in your mind, but not be present to what is causing your inability to have peace of mind. So presence is what your focus is going to need in order to stay focused. But if you cannot focus, then there is no way for you to be present for any length of time. So this is absolutely very important. So,
I've lost track of time.
yes, we
Which
did.
is good.
And we've used almost
That's okay.
all our time. So, I'll let you ask questions in a moment.
Yeah.
If you go through the notes, you'll see that I suggested that you take some time, as we have been trying to begin to do recently, just standing and really allowing yourself to be aware and recognize what's going on inside of you and become present before you move.
Mhm.
And then be able to maintain that through the movement. So this is encouraging you not to rush. So trying to, before you begin to practice God's, trying to find a time when you don't have a specific limit on it, and it just allows you to really feel these things. Because it might only take 30 seconds, and it might take 10 or 15 minutes, or an hour. Not that I'm expecting you to stand for an hour first, but to really give yourself time, because it will make a big difference in your practice and what you can accomplish there. So, questions in here? I know that's a lot of words, but I will send you the notes as well as the video.
I do find reading them, it helps me. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything for anyone? Okay.
There are a lot of questions today, David.
Yeah, that's great.
We got here like
We
Thank
front
you.
loaded.
See you next week.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody.
You too.
Do you drink coffee, Carol?
don't.
Lots to think about.
Yes, it is, and it's. I realized that I hadn't really pulled all that together,
Mm-hmm.
and when I did very much the same talk for the meditation class, but with some differences.
Yeah.
But it equally applies to both
Of course.
practices. And so it really, I think it's very helpful in the long run if you can really begin to be aware and incorporate these principles.
Well, and it really is that, just kind of connecting that, really the beginning on all the practices.
Yeah.
Right? Just kind of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we really need to mostly do at home because, yeah, we have
Yeah.
to be somewhat done. Do something here, right?
Right.
Oh, sorry, I'm still over here kind of getting present.
You know, I'm really sad in a way. Stephen Watson did a workshop at the Master Joe's birthday festival many years ago, in which he really spent an hour exploring exactly this. And it was fabulous. It was a fabulous workshop. And he recorded it, and I asked him to send me a copy of it, and he never did. He said he would, but he never did.
Yeah.
And I did remind him once, but I didn't feel I could
Keep poking.
keep poking. Particularly not recently. He's been suffering with serious cancer.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And, he's still carrying on, but he's still in treatment too.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. Wu Yujiang. I heard last week that you were going to arrive with questions this week.
Well, I did get some time to practice. Without using my arms. It has always been really difficult.
Yeah.
So some of it is doing it enough to get past just that feeling of frustration before you even begin, almost. I found myself a couple of days maybe anyway of going, just doing I'm only working on the first paragraph here, but going between doing full body movement and then trying not to, right, and then only doing lower body movement. Partially because I'm still getting back to that thinking thing. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what would I be doing otherwise? And once I could kind of get past that a little bit, and so once, and I would do it repeatedly in one session, obviously.
Yeah.
What I did find, noticings anyway, is just more awareness of the qua and of the empty steps and of just, and more awareness of the qua, therefore more awareness of some of the more nuanced movements of the body.
Yeah.
that particularly I've lost because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I was doing too much, like boom, and like, okay, now how many, so anyway. So I think that I don't have a particular question, more just an observation. I was glad wasn't a lot of practice, but at least 3 days I worked on that.
I think
but I still get that frustration, but I kind of gotten past me.
I think one of the things you're pointing to there is reaching a point where you keep the movement continually flowing and not interrupted. And that's one of the things when you get rid of the arms.
Yes, yeah.
It gets much easier to do that.
Because I have this bad habit of stopping at the end of play peepaw. It's a second, it's a millisecond, but it's a stop. But I know it's a stop. Feel it, right?
Yeah.
And trying very hard not to do that there.
Yeah.
Particularly that I notice is my biggest flaw probably in stopping in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
But he's so cute.
That's Moki.
The names.
Mango's probably taking her morning nap at
Mhm.
this point.
Yeah, no, you're right. Just being more aware of that.
Yeah. And it also gives you an opportunity to be aware of the roundness of the movement.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That's what. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. Just to put that foot out.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Not just.
Yep.
Right.
And you know, that's I think that's one of the reasons that Master Joe insisted on the opening stepping out movement that we are supposed to be doing, whatever practice we're doing, because it starts you immediately into using the body to move the legs and arms. And so it's just setting up the fact that's really important. That's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the internal moving of the energy is the most important, but initially you've got to get that movement in order to be aware of the energy inside. So good, Carol.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really I notice
Yeah.
when I'm doing just
Around,
just
yeah.
things. And well, even in the beginning, how so it's this much and then that. It's not that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's one of the things I did notice in a number of
And
places.
there's a shift in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just sort of separates those
Yes.
little bits.
Yeah,
But
good.
yeah. And then the last couple of days, I just wanted to flow. So I've done the full
With everything.
with everything. It just seemed like that was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Well, sometimes you just have to listen to yourself.
Oh.
Yeah. But
not sometimes, all the time.
well, all the time. Sometimes it's easier than other times. I'll put
Well,
it that
yes,
way.
that's
That's really kind of what I meant, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is like it's also where discipline comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, knowing that I didn't really want to do it without my arms, like magic somehow, but knowing I had to, right? Because I just knew I had that feeling of frustration. No, the first thing you want to, and I always have to practice in the morning, or I tend not to practice. It's just like, no, I'll do it later. It's like, no, it never
No,
comes.
that's true for almost everyone.
Yeah. So knowing that I had to do that, but then there's also that sense of, oh, okay, I've been able to get past that, or the new, learnings or observations are like, oh yeah, okay, here's your reward here. Yeah, you kind of get to that point where it's just.
Yeah. And you do, you know, I've, in reference to that, I'm always reminded, Yang Lu Chen, the founder of the Yang style, was terribly hard on his sons about practice, and so he often, he insisted that they had to do 10 full flows every day, without any exception. And one of his sons eventually committed suicide. Yang Cheng-Fu managed to survive that and be very beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm.
But simply putting that kind of pressure, you have to do this,
Right.
is not the best way to practice.
Mhm.
Because it creates a false pressure and just, yeah.
But I have no problem with the self-discipline, with being called to self-discipline. Just kind of, just like, no, I can do this, or just kind of think, yeah, like you have to get through things to get something. It's like, all right, I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah, your
it's
life
like
is
that's
like
life,
that.
Yeah.
At church this Sunday, where there's a group that's talking about everyday spiritual practice. And at some point, somebody asked, well, I want to know how Carol does Tai Chi every morning. It was not in passing, I didn't have to answer the question. Okay. Yes, well, I don't do it every morning, because if I don't get up a little early enough and have to get out the door. But, okay, why does Carol do this almost every morning? And there's something going on there that
There
it
is.
just
I'm sure you must have been in class when Shelley talked about that.
undoubtedly,
What?
but
remind us.
Remind us.
She tried to practice every day, and most of the time she did, but she talked about how her day did not go as smoothly, and she had more difficulty in handling her classes and her department when she didn't practice. That it made a significant difference in that.
Yeah, I do notice that it's easier for me to deal with what's going on with John. I can roll it back more. If
Roll with the punches?
Yeah,
I
or
remember-
just okay, he's yelling. It's not about me.
Yeah.
I remember Susan. Was it Susan? Who?
Watson?
Hmm?
Susan
Who
Watson?
lives up in north of Hartford now, right?
Yeah.
Who said in after her husband's diagnosis with
Oh,
Alzheimer,
yeah.
she said, everything I need to know I learned in Tai Chi. Yeah, and that's a lot to face. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
I think of that often.
I-
Yeah.
I don't talk to Susan often, but we are still in touch.
I was in touch with you at one point asking her last name because I have a friend who moved into that same complex.
That must be quite complex. right?
Yeah.
Is he still alive or is he died?
I believe he's still alive.
That was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alzheimer's people do. They're living much longer.
Well, and he's getting good care there.
Well,
I
that's
think.
it. Sure.
Yeah. And she has help.
Yes.
She doesn't have to deal with
Yes.
it all herself.
No, right. No, you can't. Yes.
Which means that her relationship with him is better. Yeah, that's not. Oof. May we all be spared that one.
Yeah, I see that with my daughter-in-law's mother. Yeah, she
Yeah.
has it. So.
Wow. Well, are you able to do a little?
Well, I have to get John to Mystic at 1.
Oops.
So
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe we have
Okay.
to.
Because he was in the bathroom when I left, but that doesn't mean he didn't go right back to bed. He is aware of that it's necessary, but
Yeah.
you have to.
But you're not going to be present if you're worrying about.
No.
Well, and
Getting
yeah,
him.
okay, am I going to be home in time to really make sure he's ready? Because he can't tie his own shoes anymore. His finger's not working.
Oh,
Well.
well.
So it's just
Yeah.
But he doesn't like the slip-ons.
I was gonna say, I love my slip-ons.
Well, me too. Well, these tie, but my
I mean, yes, I do all of them, but
I like my tie-ons.
yeah,
well, he is too.
I have all of the above, but I do have the Skechers slip-ons that are.
I love these shoes. They're very flat soles.
They look like they look ancient.
Well, they're 2 or 3 years old.
That's not the. I mean,
No, they're not.
I'm sure I have 20-year-old boots.
They're not that ancient, but they're
Well
from,
lived in.
they're from a company called Bare Feet.
Ooh, oh yeah.
BEAR.
Yeah.
And I was delighted to find them because so many shoes have a heel lift in some way.
Yes.
And that actually throws you a little bit off balance.
That's why I can't practice. Yeah, I can't do the form of
But
these.
you have orthotics that you wear inside that.
I do have orthotics, yeah. So I have to get a size larger than.
To get all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do wear my orthotics in here, but they don't raise me very much. They're very flat. They actually lift my arch a little so that my knees don't collapse in.
All right.
Well,
we'll
then
try to make time next week for. Yeah, I wasn't even going to be here today, but my webinar got canceled. I helped cancel. Well, what happened was that they're not of the 3 other people who were on it. One of them is in Nepal, and he's normally in Israel, so he was kind of, and he really is the best person to facilitate. And one is in a Palestinian village. It was a little occupied, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, there's a sign, like, you don't paste something like this together quickly if people can't do it. So we're going to do it in January instead. So that's
So it's not like next week.
no, it's not like next week. It's because War Resisters International is getting ready for a big conference that I'm not going to. Thankfully, I don't have to get ready for it.
Where's that?
Barcelona. I'd kind of like to go to Barcelona, but Barcelona. But it's a council meeting, and I've been there, done that for 20 years. So. I'm not the chair anymore. I said no to speaking on one of the panels. I love to travel. I really miss some of it, but sometimes it gets in the way of getting everything else done. So
yeah.
right now I just have to stay here and get more things done.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
David, I have a question. I don't know why I thought about this in the midst of all the paper.
Yeah.
Do you have a good source of inexpensive paper? Because
Because you don't?
I do.
Oh, you
Do you just buy
Copy
reams of copy paper?
I buy
You buy that in a box?
5 reams at a time, I think. 5 at a time. And I've been getting it from Amazon because it's a little bit less expensive than Staples.
Because Surplus Unlimited is in front of my house. It's like the next street over. And you can get it for $2 or $3 a ream there.
Ooh.
They must have not paid more than $3 a room for the white stuff in ages. And if you go over on Tuesday, it's Senior Day. So I would be happy to pick some up for you if that's helpful.
Oh. Yeah, because I go through quite a
I'm sure you do. I've also noticed you, reuse at times too. So I'm
well,
a big.
I've stopped reusing because it jams. Often
once it's
in the
been
printer.
through, and that's that. Then you're not saving much of anything.
Well, no, because then you're spending the time and.
The time and energy. No, I know what you mean. I can do that though. I can take a peek at that and see how they're doing. Someday, as Rick will go over and get them, and sometimes they have more. But the Surplus Unlimited was a bigger store. It moved to being a smaller store on West Main Street, but then, really a block over from where I live is the Office Supply place.
Cool.
And they do have.
I used to go in there a lot.
Yeah.
When I lived in Norwich.
No, I love those places.
Yeah, they were actually they are very good. They have a lot of very usable.
Well, and
Things
sometimes
that-
they end up like buying a load of. They used to buy loads of stuff from Staples at times. That
Yeah,
a box just got hit and a little of the edges. I have a lot of the because I use a lot of wall chart paper in workshops, and some said Staples, and I bought it for $5, and it was 12 at Staples. I mean, the same and now Staples doesn't. Now they moved out of Norwich.
oh they have.
Staples isn't in Norwich.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so that also makes a difference in terms
I
of.
used to go to Staples there all the time.
Me too. I mean, when you run an office, it's the place. I mean, we
Yeah.
now get our ink through HP, so that comes automatically now. It's kind of creepy. They know it's getting low, but they have from wherever they are, they know my ink supply. It's like I hate that.
I finally gave up not using HP ink because it was too much of a hassle. And HP really is built in blockages to using.
Yeah, no, I think that a lot of them do now. You can't.
So
Right,
I
use
just-
any other brand or there's nothing else that
I
works.
just gave in and
All that, but I mean, I do find it easier that they do kind of. That there always is something there when I need it, so that's
That's good.
helpful.
that's it. No, I still order my own, but I get the HP because
Right, but I can check on paper and see. If they have some, I can pick some up. Because sometimes Rick will come back with only one ream, and sometimes he's like, oh, they have more. But I don't need that much at a time, so because they're right there and it's a walk, I don't need to worry about too much storage. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, too
Well,
much stuff in my
I
house.
usually have been getting, depending on the time, 3 to 5
Okay.
at a time. But then I don't need it for a while.
Right, and the 2 to 3 is usually not too hard to get. So I'll double check and
Okay. Cool.
always good to support them and not
All
Jeff
right.
Bezos.
I really should stop that.
All right. Okie dokie. Oh, check. I'll do the check.
Check.
Do you have a pen and
Yes.